So now that you have your Hour of the Wolf posse fully painted up and your new unit cards freshly printed and sleeved, what's the best way to use them in a game? First off, let's take a look at the Posse Bonus. By filling all 6 slots, every unit will gain access to Shrouded, forcing your opponent to reroll successful aim checks. This combined with Ghost Wolf's Totemic, allowing you to start with 2 small Spirit Totems, gives you the potential for an Alpha Strike very early in the game. This list also allows for a great deal of expansion, with 3 separate slots allowing an additional unit of Wayland Spirit Walkers to be added in. This posse also allows you to bring 3 separate units of Hunting Wolves now that they've been moved to the strategic slot rather than as a support option. When putting together your list, keep in mind the fact that the Hour of the Wolf posse is meant to be a primary theme posse, meaning it will form the core of your overall list. While it would be possible to build an entire list with just this posse, you will greatly benefit from bringing a second posse along for some additional flexibility. Out of the box, the Hour of the Wolf posse comes in at a meager 605 points, giving you lots of options for expanding your Warrior Nation force. Furthermore, the posse box contents only take up the first 2 slots, giving you plenty of room to grow your force to a hard-hitting and fast-moving glass hammer. One of the major issues you're going to run into with this list, and with the Warrior Nation in general, is a major lack of ranged firepower. The Warrior Nation overall is a melee-oriented force, which is why Spirit Totems are critical to success. This list only has 2 to 3 ranged support options, depending on your preference, so keep this in mind. The absolute first thing you need to pick up after this posse box, or alongside it if you have the cash, is a box of Spirit Totems. The box contains 2 greater Spirit Totems and 6 smaller Spirit Totems, which will be plenty for this list. As I mentioned previously, the entire box contents can easily fit into the first 2 slots, leaving 4 more open to fill. The majority of slots will need a combination of Hunting Wolves and Wayland Spirit Walkers to fill them, with a small number available for hands and an additional face. The best fit currently is going to be Iron Tooth. His ranged attack isn't the greatest, but he does come with a pair of Spirit Blades to help rip through enemy models, as well as some card manipulation possibilities with Savant. More importantly, however, is additional access to Totemic, which will give you either a pair of small Spirit Totems or 1 greater Spirit Totem. This will allow you to have multiple exit points for the rest of your force when charging your opponent and moving into position. Speaking of hands, it's also a good idea to decide how you want to hold any potential objectives, assuming you don't already know the adventure you'll be playing that day. If you're not too concerned, feel free to stock up on either Hunting Wolves or Spirit Walkers, depending on flavor. Slots 4 and 6 give you the option of bringing a hands unit instead of a beast of some sort. Slot 4 only allows for a Hunting Wolves unit, whereas Slot 6 lets you bring any support option with the beast keyword. This opens up options for the real heavy hitters of the faction, as well as bringing in some very rare torrent weapons. Both the Fire Eagle and Great Elk have torrent weapons available to them, as well as their regular melee options. The Fire Eagle's Fiery Torrent brings both the hazardous and lethal rules, while the Great Elk's Iridescent Breath comes with Stun and Displace. Both will gain access to Shrouded thanks to the theme Posse Bonus, so it will largely depend on your personal preference. The Fire Eagle is significantly slower, while the Great Elk has a combination of Trailfinder, a quickness of 7, and Rapid, allowing him to quickly charge up the board. Personally, I plan on going with the Great Elk, who will provide an excellent distraction that's nearly impossible to take down without a major fight. There is a third option for a beast support, the Great Thunderbird. While 5 points cheaper than both the Great Elk and Fire Eagle, it has a few downsides as well. Like the Fire Eagle, it has a very low quickness of 4 and no rapid, so it's going to take some time to get into position. This can be mitigated a bit with access to the flight special rule, but for anything requiring a quick check, both the Great Thunderbird and the Fire Eagle will suffer. Its Lightning Bolt ranged attack is not a torrent weapon and comes with the special rule, meaning it can only be used once per activation. It'll be very costly to have both the Great Thunderbird and Fire Eagle keep up with the rest of the posse, and the lack of a torrent weapon compared to the other two means I'll be saving it for something else. More on that later. So with all that out of the way, how would I build an effective tournament-sized Hour of the Wolf posse? It's quite easy actually, though it may end up being a bit pricey money-wise in the long run. My ideal list would contain a large number of Hunting Wolves units, as well as an additional Spirit Walkers unit. Sprinkle in some Plains Warriors and a Great Elk, and you've got yourself a truly lethal list ready to rip your opponent's models to shreds. For an additional bit of reference, here's the list I came up with for this video. Feel free to try it out and tweak it if necessary. Well, that's going to do it for me. Sorry about the delays in getting this one out. I had to spend some time going through everything after 109 came out and get a few games in. I certainly wasn't distracted by anything else that was recently released. Nope, not at all. Hyper-focused on Wild West Exodus. That's me. Stay tuned for more Posse unboxings, an upcoming painting tutorial using nothing but contrast paints, and some battle reports once I get the hang of my new camcorder. Take care, everyone.